în economia partidei. Delgado acolo este, va fi corner, dragi ascultători.
Hello, citizens. Welcome back to Valverde Broadcasting and to this week's glorious episode of It Ain't Broke, the show in which we sit down and discuss films of yesteryear, which rather implies it was last year, but it doesn't. That's not what I mean.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Today we are covering the 1994
Yes.
or 3 epic James Cameron one for me film, could be argued, True Lies. By one for me, I mean, you know, the one for me, one for them type deal.
Oh, I see. Yes, no, I'm with you.
Kind of.
I'm with you.
But yes, on my left, of course, is Comrade the Jackstione.
Always on the left, comrade. Uh-oh, comments. Carry on.
I have some red on me.
Yeah, that's Raj.
And I'm, of course, Duncan Casey. You know me from such films as Things and also this channel, What You Are Watching Now, hashtag whatever. So, True Lies. I think a staple of both of our film collections, yes? Something we've both enjoyed
massively,
immensely. What was your first sort of, like, how did you first come to it?
I saw it on tape when it first came out because, that period of my life, Cameron, Schwarzenegger. What I used to do when I was a child was, if I liked something, and it was my favourite thing, I'd find out who created it and then decide they were my favourite in that field. So John Wagner and Carter Square are my favourite writer and artist because they created the thing I loved. James Cameron was my favourite director because he did Terminator. Schwarzenegger was my favourite actor which is dumb as a pile of bricks, but that's how I did things when I was 11. So I would have rented this or got it on tape or something.
Yeah, for me, it was, I came to a lot of this stuff because of my dad. My dad was, I don't know if he was heavily into this sort of thing. It was just stuff we'd watch. And I guess like over time, we would sit down and we would watch things like Terminator and True Lies. And we went through a real period of watching this stuff. I think when he was living and working in Jordan in the mid to late 90s, the only videos you could get out there were pirate videos. That was it. You literally went to the video shop and it was just wall to wall, like.
That's what Asia and South America are like.
It's
like, oh, this has only been out in the cinema for a week. Yeah, I'm watching it on a bus.
Yeah. So so before anyone complains, not that you would, but yeah, that was the only way you could watch stuff. So I remember watching an awful lot of these films in relative crapo vision. I think the version of True Lies that he had was all right because it was so far down the road that obviously people could have just copied it off a tape rather than, off an official tape rather than filmed it in the cinema. But it was in heavy rotation along with a lot of the other, standard stuff, Commando, Predator, all the things that I'm sure we all watched as a kid. But I remember this had a unique thing in it because it was really up my dad's alley as far as the humour was concerned, and thusly kind of formed the basis of a lot of my kind of humour. And obviously, like watching it later in life as an adult, it's kind of like, the humour's really strong in it. I just have real strong ties to it as a film. I think as well it marked not necessarily the apex, but it came right in that apex of like Cameron, Schwarzenegger, like even
bloody close if it's not the peak.
I mean you've got like Bill Paxton, all these people, all these stalwarts of that group. Save for Michael Biehn.
And Brad Fiedel, obviously. And
Brad Fiedel.
I think Mark Goldblatt editing.
Yeah, and it could be argued. I mean, like that was. I mean, because what came next was Schwarzenegger, Jingle All the Way or something.
It's something not
Eraser
great. I think probably Eraser.
Or End of Days was later.
End of Days later. The funny thing is, like this and Eraser, they kind of sit on a similar stool because they're both kind of spy thriller things.
Yeah.
And fuck me, is Eraser crap compared to this. Like Eraser's alright. I think I got shit for being lukewarm on it before.
As you.
But it absolutely pales compared to True Lies. True Lies just is like cracks and pops. It's just wonderful.
It is, and to call it that, I mean, that's a great place to start talking about it. True Lies. It's like, what is that? Like, obviously, it references what he does for a living, but it's an interesting thing to call that film because really, it should be like terrorist stopper man, like whatever. Like.
Well, it's based on a French film called La Totale, which I don't suppose the total, which just sounds like buying your groceries. I don't know. It's something I guess it doesn't have a direct translation. And if you watch, I've never seen La Totale, because I simply just don't have access to a copy at the moment. I'm sure I could get one if I tried hard enough. I've watched scene comparisons and stuff online.
Okay.
And it seems that key elements are taken out and done one for one in this version. But I think for the most part, it's being its own thing. And obviously the ending of True Lies is big budget American craziness. Like nukes going off and helicopters and Art Malik in a jump jet and getting launched off a bomb and stuff like that. And really high concept stuff. So like the cigarette packet with the camera in La Totale, I can't remember what it is. It's like a fake handbag or something. So it's the same thing with a different device.
Okay.
I think it's the son that steals the money. I think possibly even the machine gun down the stairs is from La Totale as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
So it kind of preserves that kind of mad knockabout comedy stuff, but it does it on this huge scale. And I think it's, I'm the first one to bitch about remakes, but I think this seems, from what I can tell, having not seen the original, it has enough of its own flavour in that, because it's supposed to be absurd. That's what's good about it.
Yeah.
Because the idea of Arnold Schwarzenegger, firstly, Arnold Schwarzenegger as a James Bond type completely doesn't work. Yeah. Because if you put a kind of, you put your kind of suave Etonite guy in a casino in Monte Carlo, that makes sense. Yeah. If Mr. Fucking Universe swims out of a lake in a wetsuit, has a tuxedo underneath, and then knocks out some dogs, it's almost as if they're trying to say something about how absurd that image is.
He literally does because that's the start of Goldfinger, right? He has the duck on his head and he comes out and he takes off and he puts the carnation in his thing and walks into the, and so that it is literally that. But you're right, but it's so like. It's done in a way that like Austin Powers later on. I mean, Austin Powers is brilliant for all sorts of reasons, but it just sends up. Like
Austin Powers is a straight up comedy, whereas this is
like absurdity, like you say. But the comedy isn't. It's not like winking at you at any point, really. Yeah. It's more just like
it's self-aware and it's drawing attention to its own devices, and it's concerned with. I think what Cameron's done is looked at La Totale, liked a lot of it, and gone, well, hold on, I could make a kind of... It's kind of a parody. It's like a self-aware... I mean, Austin Powers is a straight-up comedy parody, and it's created as such. This is a kind of action comedy directed by a normally quite po-faced action director. There's plenty of humour in his films, but they're not as comedic. This is easily Cameron's like funniest film by design.
Well, and it's interesting as well because you can sort of almost feel like he was on set, kind of going, "Go on, let's do it. Let's just do this." Like the fucking binoculars thing, where like he's just angry enough that one of them shatters for no reason. It's so good, but it's like it's implying that Harry Tasker has like telekinetic powers or something. But it's like. It doesn't matter. Like it's just there's so much absurdity in it. But it's just like. The physical comedy in it is just absolutely like things like when he's trying. I just love little touches like when he's when Bill Paxton's pretending to be a fucking spy or whatever and he's taking credit for all their moves and stuff like that and he sits down and he's like pours a champagne and doesn't it cut to them sit there and they clink glasses but there's this plastic like clack because they're plastic glasses. It's that sort of.
There's a surprising lightness of touch to it. Yeah. Because I don't think because a lot of the humour, a lot of the a number of people don't like Terminator 2 because of the humour in it. Because the Terminator 1 is essentially humorless. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a fucking sci-fi nihilistic noir thing. Yeah, it's fine. Terminator 2, it's going for a broader audience and whatever. And it's got a lightness of touch. And I think the joke they are really subtle jokes. Terminator 2, it's like put your leg down. Like stuff like that.
It's
really
situationally and character-born stuff.
Yeah,
that's
it's not fucking out in John glasses and talk to the hands.
Exactly.
Right?
We've done forced into that.
Length. But this is a wonderful lightness of touch. Like that is a bit of Foley with the two plastic glasses. It's lovely. It's just a lovely little thing. But then it goes totally balls out with like their version of the machine gun down the stairs and the striptease scene and Art Malik on a missile and stuff. Like all that stuff. It's often quite broad. But there's a ton of like really subtle stuff done through framing and editing, sound design, performance. Yeah. Because Cameron makes all those things sing at once, and it's really wonderful. Like when he lends his hand to it, because I think Avatar's probably got some jokes in it. I don't remember. It's like someone made me eat a kilo of blue porridge.
I mean, like you say, I'm sure there is, but it's not. It's not apparent. No, I mean it is. So Titanic was next for Cameron after this, is that?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So like it's sandwiched in between Terminator 2 and Titanic, the two teams. Came the three T's, I suppose. This is the second.
Yeah, true. The T trilogy.
Well, then we got Terminator, I guess, as well. So that's four. Anyway,
quadrilogy.
It's more T's than I care to think about. Yeah. Yeah, for a time he only made films beginning with T.
And they were all enormous hits.
Yeah.
Goes makes The Abyss, no one cares. But I suppose the is a T.
That's true, yeah.
Bit of a stretch. The Terminator.
Yeah.
The Abyss. The True Lies.
The Aliens.
I'd have called it Those Aliens. Those Aliens.
It is just a wash. It is one of those, again, it falls into that category of films that I just love to put on. And it's like a wonderful place to spend time. And I haven't, like, it's not like Terminator or anything like that. I've never picked this film apart and wanted to know about all the production history and all the stuff that went on. I know bits, but basically I like just experiencing it for what it is, and I don't want a special edition. I don't want I wouldn't mind a Blu-ray of it unless if they've done that finally.
I wouldn't know. They must have done.
They didn't for a long time. It was that and Bad Boys 2 for whatever reason people really wanted on.
Never seen Bad Boys 2 on Blu-ray. Look, it's just this thing where, again, Cameron makes all these elements sing, and actually from a behind-the-scenes perspective, it is really interesting just because, I'm not saying you should go and look at it, because please don't if that's not your bag and you don't have that, because it's a distraction to the world of the film.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it would just...
Well, yeah, exactly, like all things really, but there's real magic in it, because there's just miniatures, again, rear projection, miniatures, models, CGI. Terminator 2 did that really well. Like it uses them all in tandem. So it's like this big box of tricks being used at once, and True Lies does that as well. So it's like the insane kind of like raised roadway, freeway thing, chase.
The keys, through the keys.
Through the keys and the nuke.
Yeah.
And all this starts in the... I love the horse chase.
Yeah.
And I love that, the horse refuses to jump over the thing. He's like, yeah, fair. Fair enough.
Well, what were you thinking? I had the bad guy and you let him get away. That speaks to the heightened reality. Like it's slightly deconstructionist in that, like he's like, all right, I'm gonna chase a guy on a motorbike just jumped off a fucking roof into a swimming pool. Like, and when you're watching that, you go like, oh, fair play, that's how he got away. And then
it's really self-aware.
And it starts in a little contained bathroom fight that's quite realistic and gritty and violent, and then it ascends into this chaotic
up and up.
Yeah,
it just expands from this really focused thing, and the bathroom bit's really cool, but it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
The guy with his pants, the sort of John Williams lookalike guy, sort of like waddles out of the bathroom, and then that just getting that tile to go
again. Precision.
Yeah.
Cameron does things by precision. Say what you like about it. I mean, like personally, I don't like Avatar, as it goes in his body of work. And Titanic is very wonderfully made, but it does not tickle my particular pickle, so to speak. But like that, again, the little thing with the tile falling off and the plastic glasses going together.
Yeah.
That requires a level of planning. It's similar, but not the same to what Edgar Wright does.
Yeah.
Edgar Wright is surgical.
Yeah.
And I think Cameron to a degree is as well.
Yeah. I mean, he knows it. I mean, that's the beautiful thing. It's like I suppose when you're working on a thing like this, your characters are able to be more heightened and pastiche and sort of, like Bill Paxton's character is so over the top ridiculous that having things like that, he's got that moustache that's hilarious. The shit that works with Helen, is just funny. And the fact that then at the end they literally cut the end of his trailer off and drag him out kicking and screaming. It's so funny.
He's so excellent at just being this pathetic worm.
Yeah.
He's so good at it.
And there's that really, that shot of him on the dam when they clearly, were holding him, over the edge of the dam. And he's like, oh, it's
a fantastic bit of perspective.
Yeah.
And it's, James Cameron and the kind of blue lighting, and it looks like a Cameron film, but it's got this, again, I'm sorry to keep banging the drum, this is mad lightness of touch, but on this huge canvas, and it just looks amazing all the time.
It does have a thing in it that we brought up in the troping mechanism of the helicopter that you can't hear until it suddenly appears. And then apparently the characters in the scene don't notice it, even though they're alone on a highway at night with nothing around. But it's brilliant. Yeah, and Tom Arnold, I suppose we should talk about as well. He's obviously done a lot of stuff, and I think generally I like.
He's done Roseanne Barr, that's for sure. Sorry.
Yeah.
I am a disgrace.
But obviously he was in Austin Powers Funnily enough, there's your through line.
Oh, was he Austin Powers?
Yeah, he's in the bathroom, isn't he? When he
Oh,
comes in,
who
I'm
does
sorry.
number 2 work for? Yeah, okay.
No, thank you. I'm English, and he goes, sorry. He's fantastic in this.
He's someone
Absolutely
that,
fantastic.
I'm not a fan of generally.
Right.
And that's hardly a new original observation for someone on the internet to say, but again, he's kind of great in this, and he's the kind of person who's constantly saying they're going to make another one. It's like, yeah, right.
Yeah,
okay.
I know. It's a bit...
Okay, it's like you had one threesome and you keep telling everybody you've got another one lined up for the next 50 years. It's like, yeah, come on, mate, don't you know?
I know, that is a ship that I think has long since sailed. And look, what on earth would you make a second one about?
Well, God, and Cameron wouldn't do it.
No.
You know,
Isn't it?
what would be the point? So, like, yeah, and it's an example, a very good example in my view, of something that we've said time and time again, that our Schwarzenegger is as good as whoever directs him. And having recently done Hercules New York, you know, I guess that guy didn't make him sing, but this, you know, Arnold did a lot of comedy.
Yeah.
This. He's great in this. The timing and the deliveries and stuff. He's spot on. When you get him, you know, John McTiernan and James Cameron, you get him doing something good. He's fucking great.
I see people often try and talk about his best performance and stuff. I give you True Lies, and it's not one that people really talk about very often. But actually, I think, in terms of just a performance that hits every beat, absolutely one for one. Like it is fucking amazing. Like he lands all the jokes right. He gets all the he's cool. He kind of, you know, he's believable as this spy guy, even though it's slightly over the top, you know.
And anything, as we talked about before as well, anything with Schwarzenegger in is inherently ridiculous.
Yeah.
And you have to play on that.
Yeah.
Because like the Terminator, I think recognises that he's a robot, so he's a tank.
Yeah.
He's either like a human tank or inhuman tank. And this is, you know, if this film didn't exist and someone said to you, Schwarzenegger is Bond.
Yeah.
You go, shut up, that's stupid.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, no, but it's a parody. It's still stupid, shut up.
Yeah.
You actually watch it, and he does it, because it is absurd, it's ridiculous. It's like Mr. Universe as Bond. The Dorito made of bollocks in a tuxedo, basically.
Yeah.
Hate to go back to that, but I'm trying to make that my catchphrase. And again, it's kind of time to make that sing, and he does it with enough kind of charm and warmth, because you buy that he's a family man and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And it really works, and it hits all the beats.
Well, it's a hard rope to walk, actually. That like you say, that bit of it, because you've got to be this bad killer, all that sort of stuff, and a seeming sort of absentee father and husband, and yet still care about, like it's still evident in all that he loves and cares for his family. He's just got this. He's between a rock and a hard place all the time, and he's got this, you know. And the beautiful thing, and the thing we should really talk about is the film really is Helen's story in a lot of ways. It's her change that really is what the film is about. It's not. I mean, you know, he's just Harry all the way through, but like she is like Helen.
Oh God,
like,
yeah, she really.
Do you know what I mean?
She becomes like a mega spy at the end.
Yeah, and it's fucking awesome. Like,
Well,
and that's
it walks a fine line, because you know, luckily you kind of feel like, I don't think it would have ever gone anywhere with what's Bill Paxton's guy called? I can't remember. It's like, I want to say Chet, but that's from Weird Science. Anyway,
yeah,
she kind of flirts with infidelity, but the way she's set
Simon
up,
or something.
is it, that's like
he's
his
covered
code.
up. Yeah, the same.
It's like I don't blame her.
Yeah.
Look at the way she's been treated. Like,
Yeah.
You know, like if I get like Harry's trying to protect the country or whatever, but he's neglecting his wife. Don't fucking, you know.
She never actually cheats on him. Like
No, she gets close, and I don't think she would have either.
No, I think
you know.
you can tell she wasn't comfortable. She was just wanted to flirt with it a bit, because like she says when she loses her shit in the interrogation, she's like, she's like, haven't you ever just wanted to do something just like wild and just be like, I fucking did it. Like, you know, that is I mean, she's wonderful in that film. She goes from literally being that coward, and there's that glimpse of it at the start when he gets up in the morning and he's putting his tie on or whatever, and she's like, talks about the paving or the pool guy or whatever, and he's like, oh, he wanted whatever. He goes, that's okay. She's like, it's not okay, it's extortion. It's like, so what did you do? It's like, I slept with him and he took off whatever, and he's just not there.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a beautiful little glimpse of like, she's sassy, like she's got some fucking, but she's repressing herself, you know, and it's like...
It's a desperate housewife trope, isn't it?
Yeah.
And she kind of comes out of herself. I'm not into this thing. It is a kind of comedy, so I don't mind. But like, there's a thing in films, this is a trope worth discussing, like, if you get involved in a situation like this, any cunt can be a spy. And it's just like, do you know what? Quit your office job, we'll have you, because of that one time. It's like, what?
Yeah.
If I go and deck a rapist, can I join the police? And it's not like, it's, oh, we did it, come on then. Give me a pop.
It is a bit like
Off you go.
I suppose the idea behind it is that it was her. It's like, I suppose this is where the truth comes into it. But it's like if he'd just been straight with her all along, you know what I mean? That would have brought out her. I don't know, like she was capable of all this stuff.
Right.
It's allegorical, I guess, of like people's potential.
Sure. Yeah, no, you know, and do you know
But-
what? The whole thing is patently absurd. That's the point, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be too. Just wanted to draw attention to that trope because it kind of bothers me. Because it's like, hold on, I've got to sit around writing a fucking CV.
Yeah.
It turns out if I just went and stabbed a pig, cut it to bits, and walked into a butcher, they'd give me a job. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's funny because you can talk about I'm sure this was not on Cameron's mind, but there is a sort of sense with her that she's like reborn, because she's literally pulled out of the limousine and then she's like that's like her.
Right.
She screams and it's like she's a new person at that point.
It's all about transformation for her, isn't it? Because you know, up to the I'm being very classy. I'm going to talk about the striptease scene without saying the obvious awesome thing. But you talked about it before we started on camera. Like she in the mirror, she transforms herself. You know, she takes that kind of mousy secretary thing and just improvise, and it shows her skill to improvise. It's a great bit of visual storytelling and character building.
Yeah,
and acting and performance, because she looks in the mirror and just goes like, as you said, like, this is what the fuck am I doing? And she just like sticks her hair back from the vase and she tears the sleeves off.
Because she realises she's not at that point. She's whoever she wants to be. Yeah. She doesn't realise she's going in to see her husband, but it's like I can be who I fucking want to be. And then and really, so that's the sex, and then the whole stuff in the like when they're escaping from all that is almost like the gestation, and then she's born when she comes out. Because literally straight away after that, you know, while they're escaping and everything like that, even with the Uzi that she drops downstairs, she's like, like she's still quite mousy. But as soon as she's pulled out of the, because there's a bit where she like beats Juno, what's her face, with the thing, and then like throws the bottle up and catches it, and suddenly she's like really cool. Yeah. And then she gets pulled out of the limousine, and thereafter she's just cool. Yeah. Like, she's never mousy or quiet again. So it's kind of like, she is literally reborn in a way.
Also, a lesser filmmaker in 2018, in the lead up to the striptease scene where she transforms herself, would have shown her watching the video to Addicted to Love.
Yeah.
Because she is like exactly like those guitar girls, right, in Addicted to Love.
No, they've got clothes on.
Well, no. I mean, the black dress and the slick back hair.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Because they're wearing before she strips off.
They're wearing black dresses?
I thought they were black dresses. I'll put a clip in, will I?
Yeah.
Future Richard.
Yeah, but you're right, all just dancing with basses or whatever.
I'm addicted to love. I know all the words.
I did that in a band once, and at the end we went, might as well face it, you're addicted to love. No one got it. Everyone thought we were being really serious. But anyway, it's, I know, I think it is one of those things, like you say, it is an apex. It marks the sort of meeting of a lot of key talent right at the top of their careers, right in the, like imagine trying to cast that a year down the line, 2 years down the line, with those people, with that director, with blah, blah, blah. It's like,
I think the stars aligned a bit.
You only do that with that amount of money. Like that is.
It's interesting because I remember I've spoken to certain people who hold Brad Fiddel's music for this film in kind of low regard, and thinking about it as someone who really enjoys the music of Brad Fidel. Can you hum any music from True Lies?
There's that bam 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 bam, like that sort of.
Never mind. There you go.
Thing,
yeah, okay.
Which is that sort of synth. But yeah.
I remember enjoying it, but I was never kind of like, there's a theme here.
There is a sort of thing
how
to
you
it.
view film music, I suppose.
Yeah, I can sort of,
I've spoken with certain people who've described it in low regard, and I'm kind of like, well, maybe I'll listen to it again because it's Brad Fidel. And
there's definitely a theme there. I think what he's serving in is the sort of like the situational stuff, like when they're walking into the CIA or whatever. Was he work for the CIA? Was it a branch of?
I can't remember, but I do remember that Charlton Heston is Nick Fury.
Yeah,
and he
very
looks
much
so cool as well. He's like,
what did you guys say? So far, this is not exactly blowing my skirt up, gentlemen. Don't you have any hard data?
So it's that and Coburn in True Lies.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, these are
you
cool
mean
matchups.
Eraser?
In Eraser. So
Yeah.
This is true. In Eraser. It's this matchup of like Schwarzenegger with these awesome old school kind of action stars. It's just like, it's fucking cool. And he is just Nick Fury as well. It's like, that's fucking awesome.
What is it? He goes like, before someone parks an automobile on the on the front lawn of the White House with a nuclear weapon in their trunk. It's just it's so weird. It's just
I love it.
Speaking of which, this film gave rise to an awful lot of things I say now. Well, a couple of things that I say now in everyday life. Things like when a battery's running out on anything, I go, "Batrasis," like the guy, the guy at the end. That is a brilliant bit of acting, by the way. If anyone, I don't know the actor's name or who he was, but I mean, when he's just like,
oh, Valverde Police, don't worry. They're going after John Matrix again. Constant problem in this country, in this fictional country.
Damn you, Matrix! When he's just like, "Batrasis," then he puts the camera down and he's like shitting his pants at Art. And Art Malik's fantastic as well.
Yeah, great villain turn from Art Malik.
And then the other one is when I need the toilet, sometimes I'll say, like, I need the major tank. Like, and it's just like, it's just perfect Arabic at the bottom. I don't think tank is, like, it's like a major leak.
Oh, and the Schwarzenegger in the drug scene as well, when he's like giving him sodium pentothal or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And like he's talking to his missus and she gets it all out of him.
Yeah.
It's really great. He's just like, we're going to die.
Yeah. They're gonna cut on their throats, so they're gonna leave us here till the bomb goes. I was like, all right, let's. Have you ever killed anyone? Yeah, but they were all bad.
See?
So
fucking
good.
awesome. So good.
I swear. It's so good. It's so good. And that's the bit they always chop up on TV, like, because they want to put it on at like 3 on a Sunday, which is like,
well, it's like that cut version of RoboCop. It's like, do you know what? There's a time and a place for this film.
Yeah.
And this probably ain't it.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. But that guy's a great actor as well. The like torture artist. It's like when he goes. Yeah, and how are you going to do that? It's like, my handcuffs. It's like, I beat them. This guy's like, it just like stabs him in it. It goes full, like, it's pretty violent in places.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It comes from the tail end of that era when that was a done thing, and you could watch these films to adults, regardless of how absurd they were, which is probably what gave birth to Hudson Hawk. I'd like to reference Hudson Hawk as often as possible, but yeah. I
like the fact that it uses a freaking like petrol tanker as a flamethrower and stuff like that. It's full of, do you know what? It manages to be full of action cliches, but use them in wonderful ways. Like him running and jumping off that dock when the explosion goes off behind him.
Yeah.
It's just like an iconic version of it, which was done in everything, but for some reason in that, it just looks absolutely
works so
amazing.
well.
Yeah. And then, like you say, all the photography with the Florida Keys and the, and all that. Like, there's one bit of behind the scenes stuff I have seen when they're in the helicopter. And I think I've heard Tom Arnold talk about it as well when they had the like Marines coming in, and like that was a one-shot deal. Like they only got
you got to do it once and that's that.
And it's like, and it's an amazing shot. It's like here they come. It's like they just go. It's like
when they blow up the office in T2, it's like you get that once, you just don't get it.
Yeah. Another little before we close. Another little awesome details. It's things like. Again, and it only comes at this budget level and with a director who's got the vision to do it, of course. But it's things like. There's obviously an effect shot when he's minigunning he's going after the helicopter with the minigun along, strafing the building, doesn't he? And then the shots go past the building and then you see them like hitting the water in the background or whatever. Is it that way? I can't remember.
I think so.
Or it goes the other way and hits the building. But it's like to do that level of detail as a special effect. It's like, but it's obviously designed to show the destructive force of said.
It's visual storytelling, man, and it just employs things at all these different levels and layers, which is what Cameron does when, again, the opening of T2 is all these different things in different layers, and that Future War stuff is literally layers of foreground, middle-ground, background, projection, models, puppets, lighting. A similar thing, and it creates depth, and you could give this exact same script to a lesser director, and you'd have this kind of like 5 out of 10. Lesser director, lesser cast.
Well, but also he's so aware of giving each character really a development. Even like I forget the character's name now, but the guy with the curly hair who works in their office, he's the cameraman, and at the end he gets the gun out and shoots. What a great little moment for him! And it's like, and it's a great, even though he's a small character, like in the grand scheme of things, he's still got a development, and you don't need to talk about it. You just show it, like, and that's clear to him. He's like, whoa, like right at the end of that, and it's just like.
It's a great bit of performance.
Yeah.
It's just, visual storytelling, man. It does it on every level, and I think quite a lot of this stuff. I think what we do on YouTube, much like other more successful people do, is perhaps draw attention to this stuff, because I think there's always been this thing that says, it's just a big dumb action film, and it's like you don't just pull those out your arse. Like, they have to be precision timed, and again, you could just make a kind of solid fucking 6 out of 10, or you could go make Cyborg Cop 2 if you wanted. This is an example of a film that uses all these different tricks and all, it's this complete okay, sure, stars aligned in terms of when it was made, but acting, performance, lighting, editing, sound, music, everything we discussed, it all comes together at once, all in sync as this perfectly oiled machine.
Yeah, and trust me, like, it's easy to take all that for granted, but I've been on sets and I've been on big budget sets and I've worked, you know, on medium budget and low budget shit. Just coordinating all that, knowing the juggernaut that film would have been to make, where you've got, like, you know, where's the crew base, what time is lunch, who's got the, you know, all that shit you've got to coordinate, and you've still got to end up, like, in your head you've got to have these little moments and these things are going to happen, and like you say, all this precision. I mean, you've really got to be someone who can effectively shut out all the bullshit and just plow on with what you want. And I guess Cameron, you know, in a beautiful way at that point, he could command the money, he could command the actors, and he again was able to shut out the ego and the bullshit and just make it.
I'm just gonna say, I would not want to be on one of his sets because I think he gets results by being firm.
Yeah. Well, Schwarzenegger came out and said that recently, didn't he? In relation to something, this is like, you know, I like Jim, we get on really well. But he sort of intimated that, like, when filming, he's not a nice person to be around. Like,
I've heard that, and again, I think that's why they all got their what was it, like the chowder on Titanic was spiked with acid or something, because some people on the crew got sacked and did not like James Cameron very much. So loads of people got ill during filming. It's because they'd all been given PCP or acid or something in their clam chowder. Yeah, they all had food poisoning.
Jesus. Well, look, I mean, the guy, I would love to be in one of his films. But I take your point about not perhaps wanting to go through the making. I don't know. I mean, look, who knows? It's probably,
as if, right?
You know, I would love to,
it's the shorthand. Like
it would be probably a very stressful experience if tomorrow I went and worked on it. If I was Schwarzenegger level famous and then went and worked with him, then I wouldn't be too in fear of my career being over.
Situation, yeah.
Yeah, but look, I think it's one of his best. It's certainly up there for me. It's probably the Terminators, the Aliens. The Aliens, the Terminator, and True Lies. The three, like...
It's hard to call it underrated because it reviewed very well and made a ton of money. But it's just not discussed perhaps as much these days, when it should be, because it's great.
Because it's not a franchise, is it? And that's the problem. I think that's what, because it hasn't spawned fucking sequels and God knows what else. People don't really think about it in terms of his canon. But
and they should, because it's awesome.
It's awesome. So there you go, True Lies. Truer than lies. Go and check it out. It's amazing. If you haven't seen it and you came here for some reason, okay.
What are you doing? Go sit down. Think about what you're doing with your life.
Yeah. Join us next time when we'll be discussing other films and talking about Mr. Black.
Mr. Black. Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for being here. And if you haven't already, please click subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell so that everything pings in your house and annoys you when we launch things. Till next time, goodbye.
Bye.